So this is the story how I became a weeb, a straight up weeb. I was the army back then. Now I'm a weeb. I will tell you the story. So, story time. I was still in middle school, about to graduate from to go to high school. So when we graduated, no, before we graduated, my teacher told me, her name was Miss Bird. She told us, things change in high school. People change, and she was definitely right, because friends can stab you in the back sometimes. They can just stab you in the back and don't even care. So when I went to high school and everything, I learned a lot of new things. Everything was confusing. I was still an army. In high school. Then the only animes that I probably knew was Pokemon and Hantu and Danganronpa. I knew Danganronpa when I was in middle school. So during lunch, I was watching Danganronpa, all that. I wasn't really interested in other animes. I was really interested in Danganronpa and Pokemon and Hansen Miku and other animes that I knew on the top of my head. So when 2020 came around, that's when things died down. That's when things started to change. So, okay. So, when we heard about this whole coronavirus stuff, we had to stay inside, we had to wear masks, sanitize ourselves. That's when it changed me. Being locked up in the house every single day. So, I was bored. I was sitting on my bed bored, and I was like, I want to watch some TV, but I decided I want to watch some anime. So I wanted to put on my favorite anime, which was Danganronpa, and I saw like different animes that came on. I'm like, oh my god! When I finished watching my Danganronpa anime, I looked down and I saw some other animes next down to it, and it was called Assassin Classroom, and I was like, Assassin Classroom? Cause I was curious. I'm like, this seemed interesting, so I clicked it, and when I first watched it, I was like confused. Then when it was over, and I loved the first one. I kept watching it. It became one of my favorite animes since Danganronpa. Then I checked out some other anime, which called My Hero Academia, Naruto, which I have played the games before. I think Food War was when I checked out Food War, because everybody said food. I was like, what is Food War? And it was an anime, so I looked it up, and they said it can get kind of awkward at times, but I'm like, it doesn't look awkward, because when I watched it and they was eating food and they was moaning and everything, I'm like, that's normal. The food is good. I can understand that. I would do the same. And Food War became my favorite, and some other animes that I know. I want to get into new animes that I can watch. Also, Black Butler. I watched that on Netflix when my Hulu bill when I had to pay my Hulu bill, and I watch animes on Netflix. I looked up animes on Netflix. I can't say the name of the anime with the volleyball. It started with an H. I can't say it, but And I watched like a couple like full episodes of it. I mean, it was good. I never knew volleyball was that great. I never, well, in high school we did play volleyball, but I didn't really like it that much. So yeah, then after I watched that, watched Black Butler, and I loved it. And I'm like, oh my god, they cooked them in the stove. And then I checked Attack on Titans, which was it was a terrible decision of mine, because when I watched it at night. I'm like, yeah, I watched it when it was nighttime. When I looked at it, I was kind of crying because his mom died by a titan. I'm like, oh my god, traumatizing. So I kind of stopped watching it. I stopped it, but when I'm ready to go back to it, I will. And all that. Yeah, so that's how I myself became a weeb, and I'm trying to buy me weeb stuff so I can go in my room and everything. But I still like BTS. They're a good music group and all that. I still love them. I still love my boys. I still like FNAF and all that, and other stuff I'm into. But I have learned 2020 has changed my life a lot. I only have one friend. That's all. I don't have any more friends. I'm just alone in this world. Because it's me. I changed. My teacher was right. People do change. So that's how I became weeb. And I enjoy being weeb because it's more fun than being kind of an army. Not to be me. But I appreciate it. So that's my story. How I was army back then. After, hold on. Okay, middle school me was an army, still an army. Then 2020 came around, weeb. So that's the story. How army me turned to weeb. So yeah. Also make sure you subscribe, do all that, leave a comment if you want to. I don't care. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah. And I will see y'all next time whenever I upload again. So peace.